As Vince indicated, especially for the new people, just a brief recounting of what's going on in this channeling so you kind of understand what it is, how it happened, bring everyone up to speed. Is there anyone here who's never been to a channeling at all, ever? So most are familiar with a general idea of the channeling, but for me the idea of channeling is really that anyone can do it and everyone does do it one way or another, in the sense that if you're involved in something in your life that you're doing without hesitation, you're fully lost in that moment of creative expression, like an actor who becomes the part, that is a channeling state. You're just not getting in your way, you're letting that creative energy flow, and you're just tapping into higher levels of information that allow you to really transform to a different level of expression. So everyone does that. But in that state, it's apparent you can also tap into perhaps other levels of consciousness, other beings in other dimensions, so on and so forth, and that appears to be what's happening in this channeling. This started about 22 years ago for me. I had 2 very close broad daylight UFO sightings with witnesses over LA, where I live. And that started me doing research into the whole UFO phenomena and metaphysical phenomena and so forth. 10 years after the sightings, I came across the concept of channeling. I was introduced to a channel who was practicing at the time, and the entity coming through that channel eventually offered to teach channeling for whoever might be interested. Now, I went into that class, which was basically a series of guided meditations to make one more sensitive to other energies and other information. Not so much because I thought I wanted to become a channel, but I just wanted to learn more about the whole process and see how something like that could be taught. So, in the class, during a moment of high receptivity, I received what appeared to be, or what I experienced as a telepathic message from Bashar and his people. And in that one instant, the memory came back of having actually made an agreement before this life to do this with Bashar. And I understood that the UFO sightings had been shown to me on purpose to get me to start learning the things I needed to learn to do the research, so that by the time it came time to do the channeling, I would be ready to do so. And the telepathic message basically was, now that you remember we made an agreement, and now that you know it's time to begin, is this still something you would like to do? It was offered as a choice. It was not something forced upon me. But I had to really think about what I was experiencing, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't hallucinating or going crazy or anything like that. Yeah, you have a question?
Yes. Was the UFO their people?
The UFO was their people, yes. It was an equilateral triangular shaped ship, dark metallic in color, about 30 feet on a side both times. First time about 170 feet away, second time only about 60 feet away. Both times. First time about 60 seconds, the second time about 30 seconds.
So I don't know, somehow I had an idea that they weren't spiritual.
Bashar is. His people are. Most channelings of this nature do involve non-material spirit consciousness and so on and so forth. Now and then you get something like this, which is, I understand it is a telepathic connection with a material being. Now, they're in another vibrational dimension from us, as he's explained it. They're not exactly as solid as we understand solidity to be, but from their point of view, they're physical, they're solid. And if we were to make a translation into their dimension, we would see them as solid. And if they were to translate into our reality, they would see us as solid. We would be able to interact. You can ask him all about that kind of thing if you want to. He's explained a lot of that over the course of time. The thing that I do like to underline for new people, especially, however, is there's nothing about this channeling that insists that you must believe that Bashar is really a separate extraterrestrial being from myself. This could be another portion of my own consciousness. I have absolutely no way of proving Bashar's existence to anybody. But that's not really the primary reason why the channeling is done. I realize that the information coming through, no matter where it's coming from, seems to have the ability to hit the mark and help us make changes in a very positive, very effective, and very lasting way. And for that reason, to me, that's purpose enough to do something like this. So I started doing this almost 12 years ago now. I have been channeling now for the last 12 years. The word Bashar also is not literally his name in their society because they are telepathic with each other. They don't need names as such. It's actually an Arabic word, and for some reason I have yet to completely understand, that word was present at the moment of the original telepathic contact. My background is Arabic, partly, and I think it has something to do with my connection to him in other areas. And I didn't even know what the word meant because I don't speak Arabic, but someone since told me it has many meanings, but the most, I guess, appropriate one is simply that Bashar means messenger, and that was what he is functioning as, so it's appropriate we use it as his name for convenience because we need to call him something. As Vince said, when I go into the altered state, for me it's kind of like falling into a daydream. I don't hear the words of the conversation, and Bashar is not speaking English. This is just a telepathic connection. When I get into this altered state, I'm like sort of raising the frequency of my brain waves to be something closer to what I imagine his frequency of existence to be. He is simultaneously lowering his frequency to be closer to our level of reality. Somewhere in the middle we meet, we synchronize, and lock. When that happens, what you're getting here is a model of his thought patterns, a model of his personality made out of my energy and my consciousness. But when that happens, for me it's like falling into a daydream. I know there's a conversation happening. I get pictures, I feel energies, but I don't really hear the words in much the same way that if you were daydreaming and somebody walked in the room and called your name, you just might not hear it. But it's very energizing for me, and at the end, when I come out, it's like waking up. I'm disoriented for a second, but once I'm sort of back and focused, I actually find sometimes I have a lot more energy than when I began. So it's a very beneficial state for me, and I stress that because sometimes it looks like I'm in pain in the process. It's just bodily adjustments to the difference in the energy. I'm actually experiencing, a wonderful feeling, and I'm having a very good time. So I always ask, please don't worry about what's happening with me. Bottom line is for you to have a good time. The more fun you have with him, the more fun he will reflect back to you. But for those that know him, you'll know, for the new people, don't be taken off guard. Bashar is exceedingly direct, if nothing else. And to put it simply, he doesn't usually let people get away with much. So when you have something to ask, by all means, explore it to your heart's content as best as you can. He will lead you, down whatever path you need to walk with your question. And please, again, especially the new people, if there's something important you want to talk about, please don't hesitate to ask it. Don't think that there are, don't be shy. Don't think that it's too silly, too personal, too stupid, not important enough, not cosmic enough, not good enough for the group. If you feel all right talking about it in front of the group, by all means, please don't hold back. You never know what's going to come out of these dialogues, and sometimes what you might think is a very personal question for you answers dozens of other questions in the crowd, so don't hold back for that reason. Anyone have a question about procedures or anything they think they need to know before we begin? Okay. I want to thank you all very much for being here tonight, and I look forward to seeing you afterwards. So have fun, and I'll see you later. It's time for my nap. say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Allow us to begin once again by thanking each and every one of you individually and all of you together collectively for allowing this communication to take place in this way at this time. Once again, each and every time these communications are co-created between your civilization and our civilization. Together, we create a new third reality in which we may all one day interact more openly, more creatively. But for now, we thank you for whatever bridge you afford us an opportunity to communicate to you upon. For this also affords us an opportunity to see, through our experiences with each and every one of you, yet another new way that the universe has of expressing itself, and our interactions with you expand our understanding of all the ways that creation can express itself, and so we thank you for this gift. We would like to begin this day of your time with a notion, with some suggestions for some techniques and methodologies for the further understanding of the manifestation of the reality you prefer in your life. We have, of course, for quite some time, for those that are familiar with these dialogues, been talking about the idea that, of course, you do create your reality, and that your physical reality is a reflection of what you believe most strongly can be true. And we have discussed many different ideas and perspectives of exactly how you go about creating this reality. And there are on your planet, of course, because you are intelligent people, many different methodologies for getting in touch with the mechanism of your internal creativity. And there are many different processes and methodologies that have been outlined over time and that exist in your present. They're all valid one way or another. And the suggestions that we are about to make does not mean that we shall supersede anything that your own people have created, but we would like to take this opportunity to, as you say, consolidate and simplify some of the things that we have been talking about and some of the things that exist in your society, for how to go about getting a little bit clearer understanding of the process involved and the energies involved in creating the reality you prefer, in manifesting the reality you prefer. The steps we will now outline, again, will be translations into your language as best as can be done at this time from the concepts we are sending. Please understand that even though there may be specific words that are utilized to define the concepts that will be transmitted, it does not mean that just because you may have a particular semantic understanding of a particular word as it comes through, that that's the only understanding or the only definition you can have. There are many, shall we say, transferable words. There are many other words or concepts that could be used instead of the ones that will translate out, but you will understand that what we are outlining are the general concepts, and simply utilizing what words are convenient and exist within the channel's vocabulary at this time. So, to give you what might be called a very simplified overview of the steps necessary for the creation and the manifestation of the day-to-day experiential reality you prefer, we would like to transmit the information in the following way. You may, if you wish to use your writing implements and write these down so that you have something to refer to. Those of you who have writing implements, those of you who do not, perhaps can either avail yourself of making a copy later on, or whatever technique will work for you. But for right now, you may find that this will act as a handy reference, for we will now outline simply 7 basic steps for the manifestation of any and all reality that you may desire in your life. Are you ready? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Who is not ready? Who is not ready now? Thank you. We recognize these ideas, these basic categories, to be the sequential steps necessary for the manifestation of physiological reality as you prefer it. Number one, vision. Vision, vision, vision. Simply meaning, have an image, have an idea, have a dream, have a wish, have a vision, have a picture of what you say you want. Now again, many of you have heard these ideas expressed in a number of ways. And it's all right if you have heard them before, and certainly we have discussed them before in a number of ways and in great detail. But for now, again, this is just a simplification. Any word can do as long as it is representative of the concept of having some initial concept or vision that you want. Number two, desire. And this goes hand in hand with the idea of excitement. The thing that you see, that you say you want, must be accompanied by a strong energy, a strong emotion. Desire is as good a term for now as any, because that energizes the vision, literally pumps, as you say, energy into it. Emotion, energy in motion. Desire, strong, intense, all-consuming desire for the manifestation of that idea, of that reality, of that thing. Third, belief. You must know, and you must explore, and you must examine within yourself that you have the belief that it is possible to manifest this thing. You have the belief that you deserve this thing. Whatever it is that you get in touch with within the concepts of your definitions of life, your beliefs are what are going to allow this thing to be possible. If you don't believe you're capable of it, if you don't believe you deserve it, it isn't going to manifest no matter how much desire you may have, no matter how much vision you may have, no matter how clear that vision may be. If you do not believe it's possible, it cannot manifest. So get in touch with the idea of what you do believe and find out what you would prefer to believe. Find out where the beliefs you have came from. Find out why you insist on maintaining them or have insisted on maintaining them. Find out why they have worked for you or why you are motivated to believe those definitions, and determine for yourself by creating in your imagination new definitions that you say are more representative of what you really want, what you really desire. And then know that those new beliefs are in effect. And that's the fourth step, acceptance. Vision, desire, belief, acceptance. You must totally accept yourself and the new belief as true, just as you accepted the old belief to be true, without question, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Total acceptance of yourself, that it is possible for you to manifest this idea. Total acceptance of the new definitional belief that can make it so. The first four steps are what you call, in effect, the setup. The last three are, once you have the vision, once you have the desire, once you have the clear belief, once you have accepted it totally, then you need the intention. You must intend to manifest it. You can want something, but you may not necessarily intend with your will, with your focus, to manifest it. So you must have the intention to do so. It must be a conscious choice, focus, intention, will. Not an effort, but a focus, an intention. You must intend it to be so. This is also known as your conscious commandment of your reality. After you thus then have intended it, action is the sixth step. You must act like you are already in the state of that reality you want. You must behave as if the reality already exists in the present. You must do the things you would do in the way you would do them if the reality already existed for you. You must ground all the idea of the vision and the desire and the belief and the acceptance and the intention in the actions that you do, so that your behavior and your body language are different than they used to be and representative of the reality that you are now focused on rather than representative of the reality that you no longer prefer, because body language is very telling about what you really believe to be true, what you really believe you are capable of, and what you really believe exists for you at present. So action is important. And after you have built up that intense clarity of vision, that intense emotional desire, that clear, crystal clear belief of definition, after you have totally accepted that this is true for you, after you have focused your intention and have allowed your actions to reflect it, you have to totally, utterly, and absolutely detach from any outcome at all. Allowance is the last step. You have to let it go utterly, unconditionally. That's the power of paradox. You're using the power of the paradox of the existence of creation. The dark and the light, the day and the night, both sides of the polarity. You have to have, in order to manifest anything, an absolute intensity of what you want with absolutely no expectation that it has to manifest at all. That's the balanced state you need to be in order for the manifestation to be effortless. You have to let it go. Totally. And know that everything is already perfect as it is. Once you accept that the way it is perfect, then the way it is can become another way that it is. That is more in alignment, more of a reflection of what you have set yourself to be, your vibration to be. The universe, remember, is not out there. There is no out there. It isn't even that the universe, that physical reality, reflects back to you what you believe. It's not that it reflects to you. Physical reality is a reflection. That's all it is. It doesn't reflect to you. It is a reflection. There is no physiological reality apart from the concept that it is simply a reflection of your strongest belief, your strongest desire, what you believe is true about yourself or possible for you. And as a refinement on your understanding of the ideas that you ask for, make sure that you are asking for the thing itself, not the mode, not the process to that thing. The thing itself, the essence, the idea, the specific thing itself. Not, I need this to get that. Just the thing. All the details will work themselves out automatically about how it would be the path of least resistance and the best for all concerned that reality manifests. You do not have to worry about how it manifests. It will manifest automatically in the best possible way for all concerned if you build up that intensity of intention and then just let it go. No expectation, no structure, no insistence, just allowance, total allowance. And remember, And here's the cap, as you say. Many of you ask for the things you ask for because you expect, even when you're following your joy, that your reality is supposed to support you. Now, we have used that phrase many times, but only because it is a phrase that makes sense to you. It is a convenient phrase for explaining things, but it is also a misleading phrase. Your reality has no power to support you. Your reality does not support you. You support your reality. That is a profound difference. The things you do, if you look to the things you do, again, even the things that are representative of your joy, if you look to them to support you, they will not. If you support your reality will reflect the support back to you that you are giving to it. The power to be supported does not come from your physical reality. It never has, it doesn't now, and it never will. It comes from you supporting yourself by believing in what you know is true for you, and supporting the reality that is a reflection of that knowledge, and no other reality. One more time. No other reality. Well, if I just do this a little bit, that'll be all right. I know I'm really doing mostly what I really want to do, but if I just do a little bit of what I don't want to do, well, that will still be all right. Well, maybe it will be for you. And that's all right, and it's valid if that's what you want to do, because every reality is valid. Every choice is valid. Every path is valid. However, I am simply telling you, don't expect to get 100% of what you say you really prefer if you're not supporting that reality as 100% possible. If you only support it as 70% possible, you can only get that much of it, and sometimes not even that much. Because if you mix and match, shall we say, the idea of a vibration, if you support the belief, if you support a reality that you know is not your preference, as needing to be true for you, because you are afraid to let it go, all the energy you are expending in the direction of your fear will in many ways prevent you from even receiving what it may be that you do support about the thing you do prefer. Because you will be, in many ways, muddying the waters of your perception, of your ability to perceive even those gifts, even those reflections that may be coming to you from the direction of your excitement, just because you still think you have to contain other things that are not representative of who you would prefer to be. In the same way that we have said very often, you may be 99.99999999999% up to speed, as you say, but if you are a very efficient engine that requires 100% focus in order to run smoothly, then even that small, what seems to be infinitesimal percentage of doubt, of fear, could seize the entire engine, because it needs to be perfectly clean in order to operate at all. So sometimes even 0.1% is enough to stop the entire thing from running, even if the rest of it is focused in the direction of your preference. Because the cleaner your belief, the cleaner the engine needs to be, the easier it is for the smallest particle that doesn't belong there to stop the entire process. So, this now is a time on your planet, and especially now, in this your year, as you understand it, this timing right now, especially now, is a time of manifestation. Your reality, your physical reality, because you are exploring this concept of consciousness, because you know that you are more than just your physical body, your physical reality is now becoming much more plastic, much more fluid, much more malleable than ever before could it have been experienced by you. So now is the time for you to see that you can manifest what you really prefer. And these 7 steps can be a good reminder for you as to exactly how to go about doing that. And stay in that balanced state where you know your reality will reflect what you believe most strongly to be true. So thank you for allowing us to share these suggestions at this time. In return for the gift that you are giving to us, I ask you now, in what way may I and my civilization be of service to you? You may begin with sharing if you wish.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
This is David. How are you?
I am perfect, and you?
Perfect as well.
Fine, you.
I have a question about remembering many of the things that I need to know now from my Atlantean work that I have done. How do I recharge these memories to make them clearer and more useful in my current experiments?
If you don't remember them, how do you know there is something to remember?
Well, you helped me with that earlier.
No.
No?
You helped yourself with that. I am only always giving you a vibration that represents your ability to know what you need to know about yourself. You had to be the one to accept the frequency and change your energy to match that frequency. You can do it any time you wish. The idea is, again, to understand that you do know what you need to know when you need to know it if you trust that you do. And if you drop the concepts of sometimes your definitional expectations about exactly how you think you're supposed to access the information, then you can allow yourself to be open to receiving the information in the way it would actually best serve you. Because many times information will come to you not necessarily in the way you think it needs to come, but in the way that would actually serve you best. And it may be nothing like the way you think information needs to be received. But the way that it does come, that serves you best, may carry with it an energy, an atmosphere, a style that has everything to do with you gaining a deeper appreciation for what the information is and some context for how the information can be best put to use, rather than receiving it in the way perhaps you thought you should receive it, which may be devoid of the appropriate enriching context that would give you a better understanding of how to put it into applicability in your reality. Is this making any sense?
Perfect sense.
In other words, sometimes if you have the expectation that you're supposed to receive this energy as a voice in your head stating categorically and empirically a certain string of information, but in fact perhaps the information should come to you, according to what you really desire, by looking at a painting and all of a sudden making a contextual connection between the colors in the painting and still getting the idea, that may be where you trip yourself up by expecting that it has to come in the analytical way as opposed to the idea of the creative way. Is this making sense to you as an analogy?
Yes, it is.
Now then, if you know that there is information that you have access to from what you call Atlantean incarnation, the very fact that you know it's there should tell you that you do actually know what you need to know. It's just that you're putting it in a context that doesn't allow you to know that you know what you need to know. In other words, if you have the ability to even ask the question,
Right.
the information of the answer must be contained within it. Otherwise, the concept wouldn't have even occurred to you that you have information in Atlantean connections that you need to know. Now, do remember, of course, as we know you know, that this concept of past is just an illusion. All of what you call your linear incarnations, past, present, future, alternate reality, parallel reality, however you wish to label them, they are all coexisting simultaneously right now, just like all of the different threads of a tapestry coexist simultaneously, even though one thread may have its own identity, its own sense of itself apart from all the others. Nevertheless, all the other threads coexist simultaneously in order to create the whole tapestry, the whole picture. So, the life you are living as you here now is concurrent with the life you are living as the Atlantean in another here and now. It isn't in the past, it's just another expression of the same now. So if you have enough connection to the vibration of that life to even know you have that life, all you have to do is amplify the feeling that comes with the concept of that life in all the ways you can. Immerse yourself, taste it, smell it, plug all your senses into what that idea of being in Atlantis means to you, and as soon as you identify strongly enough with that frequency, you will know what that you knows. And because you are doing it for the purpose of creating a link or a bridge between the two parallel realities, you'll be able to transfer all that information back to this reality for whatever purpose you are focusing on in terms of applying that information. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Do you have the capacity to remember at least the feeling of that era?
Yes.
And
I
what
get
you
visions.
are like there?
Yeah.
All right.
I get, sometimes during my dream time, I experience life there.
All right. Then again, understand you have the ability to access the information, but just don't put the expectation that it's going to translate in the way you think it must.
Okay.
Just know that you have the information, and then as we have indicated already in the outline that we have suggested, once you simply feel the state and have created the intention and the focus and the belief and the vision, then just let go. Let go. Drop all expectation for how it has to manifest, and then just go on with what actions you can go on with, and you will see that the knowledge will instinctively be there, even though it may not be there in the way you thought it would be. Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Well.
Hello.
And to you, good day.
This is my first time, Bashar.
Then this is our first time with you as well.
Thank you.
We thank you.
I want to make it short, but I also have a little bit of explaining to do first before I ask my question.
Proceed as you wish.
Many years ago, I channeled. It was a spontaneous channeling.
All right.
The group was called the ASBAR, and they called themselves the Collective Consciousness. After many years of channeling, I decided to quit because I wanted to know that I could walk and talk the message that they gave
All right.
and be aware of what was happening.
All right. If that is the way that you believed it was best for you, that is fine. It doesn't mean you necessarily had to stop doing that. You could have done it in concert, but if this is your choice, so be it.
I have been working in the field for many years. Anyway,
Which field is that?
The field as a counselor,
All right.
psychic.
All right.
And I also, in my big body, am a coder, a light coder.
Big body.
Yes, I call it my big body.
Oh, all right. Your
Another
big
dimension.
body. Yes.
And
Your
do
total
telepathic
self.
coding. Yes. Recently, about 8 months ago, I began to wake up in the middle of the night with my hands moving very swiftly and the sense of a light being placed down over my body.
Yes.
And I was guided to begin doing a type of healing where I am in a trance state, but not as deep as before.
All right.
And I have the sense that the deepening will be less as time goes on. My hands go.
As you match the frequency, then you will need to be less detached from it. Yes.
Right. Anyway, I was told that these were the galactic healers that were coming to arc the light body.
This is, in a sense, a euphemistic interpretation, but it will do as good as any.
Right. And that as time goes on, I will be given more information.
Of course.
And my main concern at this time is how to go about more fully being in agreement with this, as well as to get a little bit of vocabulary from you, if you have any consciousness of it, about what is going on this plane with the people with the vital bodies and the way that the light body is being activated more fully through this type of arching.
All right. Well, just remember that everything is vibration. Everything is energy vibrating at certain frequencies, and different frequencies represent different realities, different capabilities, different forms of expression of consciousness. So as more and more and more of the segregated consciousness you have created in physical reality is reintegrated, rejoined, made more holistic. As long as more of you is present, there is more energy, more frequency. And as that happens, you step up, you accelerate, and you become more aware of more of yourself and gain more capability to express more of yourself in all the ways that it is possible for you to do so while still remaining attached to the dimension of physical reality. What is going on is you are all being given an opportunity to match higher frequencies wherein you know yourselves and you remember more of yourselves. And as you take the challenge, as you accept the challenge of matching those higher frequencies, you then become far more capable of knowing and remembering that you don't exist in physical reality, that you are physical reality, and therefore anything you desire for physical reality to be shall be. And why? Why? Like the word hopefully.
Got it.
What is coming?
Well, I have several ideas.
Give me the most exciting one. Strike the rest.
Okay. Terror reformer.
Meaning?
Terraformer?
Yes, meaning?
Terror reformer.
Yes, meaning? You wish to
Neighborhood
reclaim
gardens.
certain portions of your planet in a certain way?
Neighborhood gardens.
Neighborhood gardens. Have you begun to do this?
No, I have not.
Why is this exciting? Why is it so exciting? Why?
I just like it.
Why? Why?
Okay. Over and over and over again in my dreams
Yes.
and my ET encounters, I've seen various different forms of greenhouses and that.
Yes.
It's like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yes. And why would it give you so much joy to do this?
It just feels right.
It feels like you?
Yeah.
When are you going to start?
Good question.
Why, thank you. I'm full of them, it seems. When are you going to start?
Today.
Thank you. As soon as you connect to your truth, everything that needs to flow will flow. And as you ground yourself to the power of the earth, you will find that everything will correct itself. Take a deep breath and let it out. And what you are doing in that is that you are finally allowing yourself, if you accept it as such, to release in that sigh all the things, all the excuses, all the reasons for why you have not been allowing yourself to be who you know you are. Which is what causes the tension, the strain, the effort, the dis-ease, the sickness, the tiredness, the resistance, the pain, the frustration, the rage, the death in all of you. So let it go. It doesn't suit you. All right?
Now that it's been manifested there, does it usually take a little while for it to release it?
Oh, I don't know. What is a while?
Good question.
Thank you. How little time would you like it to take?
Actually, right away.
Does your belief threshold believe that it's possible for it to go right away?
No, it doesn't.
Thank you for your honesty.
No.
What does your belief threshold say is believable?
I really don't know. Because every time when the pain gets really bad, you drop to your legs or your feet, or
Yes.
you fall down.
But that was then. This is now.
Yeah.
Do you believe, beyond the shadow of a doubt, without any hesitation whatsoever, that a year is enough time for you to alleviate this condition completely? 1 year? Is that enough time?
It's far than enough.
More than enough. Is 6 months enough time?
Yes.
3 months? You hesitated.
Yes.
You hesitated. Is 6 months more than enough time?
Yes.
Is 5 months more than enough time?
Yes.
4, 3. See? There's your threshold of believability. As soon as you hesitate in the countdown, with your present state of belief, that's how long it will take. Now, if you want it to take less time, you have to find out what beliefs you have within you that would make it take 3 months. When you find out what those beliefs are, take the test again and see if you breeze through the 3-month mark and go down. As soon as you get down to where no change of any belief makes a difference in how soon the condition changes, that's exactly the correct amount of time it needs to take for whatever process really is believed by you to be the process you need to understand yourself in this transition.
Okay, just like when I wasn't able to walk, people wanted to give me a parking permit for handicap in that, and I wouldn't allow it.
All right.
Because I really didn't believe that it was going to happen.
All right. So, enjoy your garden. It's who you are. Fine.
Thank you.
And a you good day.
This may seem kind of trivial with all that's been happening.
Oh, we start right off with a judgment of self.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
And apologizing as well. Another judgment of self.
I'm so polite.
Maybe to a fault.
Oh. Okay.
What do you wish to discuss?
I want to discuss an experience I had as a child.
By all means.
This was in Ireland.
All right.
And it seems that I did have an extraterrestrial experience.
Many of you have. Go ahead.
And I really wanted to clarify that because I really desired to know that, if that was true. And also I had an experience here in Las Vegas.
Define the original experience as best as you can.
The first awareness I had was that there was something in the house that wasn't my usual experience.
Age?
Probably about 8.
All right. Continue.
I can't really remember.
Continue.
Exactly.
Close enough.
And my dog was growling.
Yes.
And I tried to get up.
And you were paralyzed.
Yes, but I did finally get up.
All right.
And I went out. It was a 2-story house, and I went out into the passageway.
Yes.
And I saw something walking up the stairs.
And what did it look like?
Well, we have a sherry in England and Ireland called Sandyman sherry. So
Define sherry.
It's a drink.
Understood.
And it's like a cloaked figure with a large hat.
All right.
Kind of looks Spanish, if you know what that is.
Understood to some degree. Are you saying that this figure was in any way, shape, or form robed, or had a high collar and or a hood?
Didn't seem to have a hood, but like a hat.
All right.
But definitely so.
All right.
So I saw this figure, and I managed to get into my parents' room.
Yes. And
at that point, everything, my parents seemed to take over, and everything was fine. But it felt very paralyzing, and it felt very frightening at the time.
all right. This is a typical symptomology of an interaction with the typical type of species that most of your society is interacting with. You have euphemistically labeled most of them greys. Continue.
I have read the book that Darrell has wrote about you, and I saw a lot of things in there. And the paralysis has hit me many times.
Yes, this again is common for these encounters for many people on your planet.
So what is the purpose of the encounters? I read the book, but I still want to know.
We cannot give you the entire agenda.
I want.
You can't have it yet. Not
Why
from
not?
us.
Oh.
From you, you can get it.
All right, in the book you say that we are your ancestors.
There is a hybridization program taking place for the creation of a species, one offshoot of which turns into my civilization, yes.
Okay.
It is one of the agendas. Another of the agendas is that your human species has attached itself psychically to their agenda because you know that what they are will force you to look at the things that you have suppressed within your consciousness, bring them to the surface to face your fears, which will allow your species to finally reintegrate itself in a holistic manner. That's another aspect of the agenda.
That sounds good.
All right.
In other words, what a lot of people are experiencing an increase of their vibration, acceleration of their vibration.
Yes.
Such as when they're channeling, and some people I've seen them almost like they're in pain. Their bodies jerked and.
Yes.
Right. Is this them experiencing the higher vibration?
Sometimes. You must understand also what is going on is that you have what you would call a collective idea of reality. Yes? The alien species that your civilization is dealing with, as with any civilization, has its own idea of collective reality. You understand that? You understand that both realities are real.
Of course.
All right. When one reality begins to interact with a dissimilar total universal reality, the universal reality of the higher vibration tends to overwhelm, shall we say, the universal reality of a lower frequency. And in so doing, the beings that inhabit, so to speak, the universal reality of the lower frequency tend to see this as invasive and annihilative, that their reality is being forced to dissolve, so that what kicks in is your ego structure, self-defense survival mechanism, because it thinks that in interacting with these beings, it is being destroyed, annihilated, ceasing to exist, and you go into survival fear.
So that's why we experience pain sometimes?
Sometimes. Sometimes it is also because there are manipulations that take place physiologically that actually cause the sensation of physical pain in your body. In much the same way as there are things that your species does to what you call the animal consciousness on your planet that you think you are doing for very valid means, but nevertheless causes them extreme pain, and many of you don't think that that's what's happening. So, you must understand that many factors, many factions of the extraterrestrial species that is dealing with you have an agenda that they think is important. And you must understand that in many ways they do not understand how to relate to your emotionality and to the way that you humans feel. And therefore, what they are doing is simply being done out of expediency, and in that it may cause sometimes some physiological painful reactions. It is not really their concern because they cannot relate to it.
I understand that. That would make sense.
Does this address the situation sufficiently for you?
At this time.
Why, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sweet dreams.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you good day.
Has the sun risen there yet?
Not where I am in my ship.
Oh, I see. You're closer to Earth?
No, I am over my world, but I am simply on the night side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Is that so unusual?
No, I just wondered because the last time you said...
Yes, I
one
understand.
moment,
I
please.
saw the sunrise, yes.
I just thought it would be about this time, and I didn't take...
It is not sequential from your reality to mine in the same way.
Oh, well, that I understand.
All right.
Speaking
And
of...
besides which, just simplistically, my ship could be in a different position. Even if it were.
True, yes.
Why,
yes.
thank you.
Very good.
Yes.
The last time we were here, you said to one of our friends that within 30 days he would be back in England. He doubted that at the time.
All right.
And he said he talked to you about the crop circles, and you agreed, yes, you would probably go. And then the word Tibet came up, and he said, I can't see myself going there. Well, to make a long story short, to the day, the 15th to the 15th, he flew out to England.
Thank you.
Well, your probability is 100% most of the time.
It is simply that we sense that the event that was being created by that individual had so much momentum behind it that regardless of what his ego structure thought would happen, his higher self had piled too much inertia for the ego structure to prevent it.
Well, I told him it's going to be interesting to see how it works out.
Yes.
At any rate, he called me last night, and he asked me, you made an inquiry about your phone number.
Yes.
And he said, listen, he says, I see the triangle, I see the blue light.
Yes.
Uh,
One moment. For the purpose of clarity, what is being referred to is that we have from time to time offered an image that you can hold in a meditative state that represents the frequency of my dimensional reality and therefore ostensibly functions colloquially as what you would call our phone number. It is how you can tap into our collective consciousness, being that it is a black background with a black equilateral triangle pointing upward against that black background, separated from the black background only because of the fact that the triangle is backlit by a deep blue electric light. Proceed.
okay, so...
We do not want to keep anyone in the dark about what you are referring to.
No, it's very good. He says, well, listen, he says, the reason I'm calling you tonight is because I can't make it work. I said, what do you mean?
Was our line busy?
Work? No. He said he was put on hold. I said, what do you mean put on hold? And he said, well, I thought somebody was there, and then all of a sudden nothing, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I said, no, in my opinion, it doesn't work that way. You send it, you put it on an answering machine, and then you let it go, and it will come to you.
Yes, although it could be instantaneous as well.
Well, the point was that he was getting excited because it wasn't coming right when he thought it should.
Oh, all right.
You're
That is
frank
usually
about
what
it.
changes the frequency enough so that a disconnection occurs. The expectation causes a disconnection.
Okay, he sends his best wishes to you.
Received and sent back. And by the way, he has received the information in a dream anyway.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, yeah, he's on his way to Tibet. I know that. He doesn't know it yet, but I know that. I mean, it's
We
got
shall
to it's
see.
got to work out.
We shall see. It is not an issue of being a thing that has gotta work out. It is simply his truth, as best as he has set it up. There are still the opportunities for change, even in that. But we shall see.
That's pretty much on his mind, so I think he will.
All right.
The only question I have for you is regarding the time streams and the
Time stream.
tapestries,
Yes,
etc. and so
yes.
forth.
The holographic matrix.
Mhm.
Yes.
With the white powder gold,
Yes.
I understand we can do anything that we so desire.
You can do anything you so desire now. Remember, the white powder monoatomic elements, especially gold, is not that which does it for you. It simply gives you the best opportunity to know you are in a state where you can do it for yourself.
Yes. However, the biggest question, like with the rapture that it mentions in the Bible,
Yes.
suppose one were to have on a gold wedding band or something of this nature, would
Yes.
that also go with that person? I mean, like
Since you are creating every physiological symbolic object in your physical reality, if it was part of the equation of the new reality you shifted to, of course. If not, then no. It's as simple as that. It's not because of the makeup of the physical matter. It's because it's a part of the equation of the vibration of the reality you are shifting to that it appears in that new reality or not. Because the idea still has meaning for you, in other words.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, got it.
Thank you.
In flowing with the parallel time streams, assuming, and I'm taking your word for it, and I will find out myself.
Oh, please don't ever do that.
No, well, I will. Listen, I love you. With the parallel time streams, that everything's going on at once, you can interweave.
So to speak. It is really, really, really not so much an issue of interweaving. It is an issue of knowing that you contain it. More knowledge of what you contain will allow access to another now. Because there is only one now.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one now. And everything that you are experiencing, even what you call a parallel time track, a past life, a future life, it's just another expression of now. When you know you contain every possible expression of now that there can be, you can access the information of the other nows. It's not a matter of weaving between them or interconnecting from one to the other. It's a matter of awakening more and more to the realization that you contain all the nows already. That's how it works, if you wish a description of the mechanism. It's an expansion to remember that you already contain it, not that you have to connect from one to another. Make sense?
Yes, very, very much. The knowingness of Wyoming previously, that's within, so I can tap into that if I so choose.
It's all within.
And this is the way it always works.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Listen, you have a good one. See you
I'll
later.
have two. Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. You too.
Why, thank you.
I just quit my job
Oh, all right.
a
Why?
couple weeks ago. Okay. I loved my work, but more than any job I've ever had.
Yes, so.
But I was having problems with the management and staff.
So it really was not representative of the most exciting way in which you could do the thing you love to do.
That's right.
Then it isn't really the thing you love to do yet.
And right.
The idea of doing the thing that excites you the most also must include being within the environment and doing it the way that is really also the most exciting way and the
Right.
most exciting environment. Otherwise, you haven't got a whole equation.
Right. That's correct.
All right. So what do you want to do about this then?
Okay. And so that was my first encounter with that way of making a living, with that reality. And
Yes. Which was?
it was being connected with the stock market.
Yes.
And what I was connected with was educating people how to pick stocks using the system, a
Yes.
specific system.
Yes. And why does this excite you?
Well, I've always loved it in college and throughout my life, but
Yes.
I've never acted on it
All right.
until I had an opportunity to join this club.
All right.
And I was so excited about joining the club
Yes.
that I told him I not only want to join, but I also want to go to work for him.
Yes.
And I did.
All right, and then?
And he told me that he didn't have time to train me, which he didn't.
All right, and then so?
And so I guess what I'm coming down to is there were some resistances along the way for it to just be.
Yes.
And
but it also may have been an opportunity for you to get in touch with exactly how it is you would like to define how you want to do this, rather than assume that you must necessarily follow the structure provided for you by someone else.
No, that's true. Yes.
So, what do you want to do about this?
Well, I want to find a structure that I can...
You want a what?
A structure.
You want a what? Find a structure?
Yeah.
Where are you going to find it? On a rock? On a beach?
Oh, well,
on a tree?
Just check with different brokerage houses and find the one that's best for me, and then...
And what if you can't find one that works for you? Then what?
Well, I don't know what I would do then.
Sure you do.
Well, driving a cab comes to mind.
No. You are missing the point that you are making.
Okay.
You're missing your own point. If you find that the elements that already exist don't work for you, what will you do? Design one that does.
Oh, design one that does.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, and my concern
yes.
is that it's a new field for me.
So, it's the field that excites you. Doesn't that tell you something?
Yes, that is true.
What does it tell you?
I love it.
What does it tell you that you love it?
It speaks to me.
What does it tell you about your capability to do what you need to do? If it is the thing that is you, the thing you love most, the thing that excites you the most, that tells you that one way or another you will discover a way.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Good.
It has to work for you in some way, shape, or form. That you must have the capability of creating, of designing it in a way that works for you. Even if it's new. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever process comes up is the process that belongs to you, for you to discover how you want to express yourself in the thing you say you love to do. And if it is the thing you love to do, then by definition it must contain an ability to allow you to do what you need to do in order for you to do the thing you love to do.
Okay.
Otherwise it would be pointless, and there are no pointless creations.
Right. Okay. All right, good. That makes me feel better.
Your stock just went up, didn't it?
Yes. It sure did.
All right.
Right. And that's always a good feeling. Yeah. Yes. And my next question is, what can I do to, like even coming up here, 2 times I had situations where women around me were reminding me 2 different times of my mother. And I asked within what's going on with that. And
what does the synchronicity mean to you?
Well, what I got was that my mother has held me kind of a thumbs down on me. I haven't been able to live the life I love.
All right.
And
so you're constantly testing yourself to see if you're going to live her belief system or your own.
Yes.
By constantly putting a reflection of her belief system in your face.
Yeah, which scares me. Yeah, right.
Why does it scare you?
Well, her belief system was forced upon me brutally.
All right, so
physically.
Now you know that. So what belief system do you prefer, yours or hers?
Mine.
Well then, don't continue to give her belief system power by giving away your power.
All right. Okay. Okay. And I guess what I wanted to ask is there any insight you can...
I just gave it to you.
And you just gave it to me. Okay.
It only scares you because you are still defining her belief as being more powerful, more valid than yours.
Okay.
When you stop doing that, she won't frighten you.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Now, you must understand something else.
What's that?
The only reason she would have imposed a belief system upon you in that way is because she was just as scared.
Oh, yes.
Because she only gave you what she knew, how to give.
Well, that's an interesting point, yeah.
You must understand this very profoundly. You all do what you do from absolute total love. It's just that you haven't always been taught what the tools are that represent that. So sometimes when an individual gives you abuse, it's because that's what they have been taught to think love is.
Right.
So what they are doing out of love, but their tool is not harmonious with the idea of love.
Right.
So she did it because she loved you, but she didn't know how to love you.
Right.
Understand?
Yes, I do understand.
She gave you the fear she was given.
Yes.
And so on, down the chain. Time for you to break the chain just from the simple recognition now that you don't have to be afraid because the fear is just a belief. That's all. That's all. There is no empirical fundamental truth to what she has you believing about yourself or her.
Okay.
It's just a belief. But every belief you have will appear to be a fact of nature because that's what beliefs are, realities. But if you know that realities are only beliefs, then you will not be afraid of any particular reality because it's only a belief. You will believe what you prefer. But if you find the fear cropping up, then simply get in touch more concretely with why you would believe, what you would have to believe in order to be motivated to believe that her belief system is more powerful than yours, more capable of manifesting, more capable of being true than what you prefer to be true for you.
Okay, why I had a greater fear than what she had. More or less. Is that right?
Well, it's an equal fear. The idea simply is that you are succumbing to her belief system. Your fear is your choice to believe that your reality is not as valid as her reality. You understand?
Okay, yeah.
When you get in touch with why you would believe that, you will create another belief to replace it, if you prefer to, if you're motivated to.
And what I get is that fear.
Yes, but the fear, again, is just a belief. Fear of what? What do you fear might really be true?
Well,
that you really are no good. You understand?
What I see is an image of her just coming across hitting me.
Yes, which tells you what?
Believe the way she does.
That you are accepting the belief that you are no good.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
You are reinforcing it. That's what the fear is. You're buying into it. You're buying into the idea that if you start to discover who you are, you might in fact find out that yes, you deserved to be abused. Yes, you're no good. Yes, you're a piece of trash. Yes, you're not worthy. This is what you're afraid will actually turn out to be really, really true. And that's why you're afraid to explore those ideas. But they are not empirically true. They're just beliefs.
Okay,
That's all.
I get. I'm selling out my person when I agree.
Yes, but that's all right. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Okay.
Otherwise, all you're doing is the same thing that she did.
Okay.
Do not be hard on yourself because you are afraid. If you're going to start to learn to love yourself, start by not judging yourself for not loving yourself.
Okay.
Start there.
That sounds good.
You are worthy of existing, or believe me, you wouldn't exist.
Okay. All right.
You already have the unconditional love and support of all that is. Believe me, all that is creates nothing extraneous. If you exist, you have a reason for being a part of the whole picture. If there was no validity to you, you would never have been created. So start with your existence as proof of your validity.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Right. Self-confidence.
Give yourself, as you say in your language, a break.
A break, right.
Give yourself the benefit of the doubt if you're going to doubt yourself at all.
Oh.
If all that is felt you were worthy of existence, why argue? Why argue with God, as you say in your language? You exist. God thinks you deserve to exist. What's your beef?
Well, and what comes to my mind is if a counter force
a
comes
counter
down,
force.
stronger.
Counter force. What counterforce might that be?
Well, just the karma, or just a stripe across the face, or an idea that there's something that.
But what's that got to do with your basic value?
Well, with my basic value.
You see, you have allowed what she has done to you to affect your concept of your basic value. And that fundamental truth, you know is not true. You basically have value, or you wouldn't exist. You are unconditionally loved by creation, or you wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I feel like that was happened a few centuries before, actually. But yeah, okay.
So anything on top of that is less than your basic value. You may feel devalued. You may feel yourself to be unworthy, but it is not a total unworthiness. If it was, you wouldn't exist. So give yourself some starting place.
Right, yeah, that's true.
All right? And work from there. Okay. But primarily, if you are now even considering that there is something that you love, right. The reason you are considering it is because it's your truth. Live it. Just continue to do the best you can to create that reality, to love yourself unconditionally enough to know it's all right to have what you want. And if you do the best you can, every moment, that's all you need to do. And things will change.
Okay.
All right? And please remember, even though it is really up to you, you are never, 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 ever without help. You are loved and you have help. Just open up to it and you will see that that is so. All right?
Right.
We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I want to ask a question concerning what I perceive to be, from, let's say, our standpoint, an interesting and exciting, maybe, ability of your civilization, which is, as you put, to scan either an individual or a situation or event, etc.
Yeah.
To have much more knowledge, let's say, of, again, a person or event or whatnot than maybe we would.
You all have that ability.
Or
You've seen that ability exhibited among your own kind over and over and over again.
Yes. But let's say maybe what I'm saying on a more mundane, day-to-day...
mundane?
Day-to-day event, day-to-day form of consciousness, in other words.
I see a vibration in your statement that is the answer to the question. The very fact that you define it as mundane is what prevents you from having the ability. Everything to us is amazing. Everything is amazing. So much so, every little thing, that the tendrils of our curiosity reach out to penetrate the essence of every single event completely. There is no mundane reality to us. And so we reach out and we know it as we need to. That's the secret. That's the clue. In that your reality very often defines that its day-to-day reality is mundane, matter-of-fact, par for the course, so on and so forth, actually thus gives you the ability to deny yourself the ability to see what there is to see.
Okay. So my question, as further directed, then I'm going to ask you a question concerning your perception, your civilization's perception. Let's say of our planet on the level of, let's say, maybe the city. So what I'm saying is, in other words,
which city?
Well, more than one, or let's say by comparison. For instance, we're right now in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you may have whatever, a general perception of this area, this city, this Las Vegas. You may also have another perception of New York City or Los Angeles or other cities on this planet. And I'm just wondering, what you see as maybe interesting or major differences, if you would, or how you would characterize either Las Vegas as compared to other cities, or just any cities on this planet that maybe seem to be maybe most different or whatever.
I see. All right. We will give you an analogy so that you can scan along with us.
Oh, great.
Are you familiar with the substance on your planet called paprika?
Paprika, yes, the red substance.
Have you ever tasted it?
Yes.
Las Vegas is paprika.
That's interesting. That's the kind of feedback I was hoping for. So, in other words, in terms of one statement about Las Vegas, you can maybe make that statement according to what we perceive to be a taste.
Yes.
So that Las Vegas tastes like paprika.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
To use an analogy.
To use an analogy. Can you delve into that at all to give any kind of indication, or if that's maybe not, or can you talk about
it? It is simply how we receive it.
Okay.
We receive it that way, roll it around in our consciousness as you would on your tongue, and simply thus extract from that what that taste puts us in touch with, in the same way that you do. When you taste something,
right,
it gives you a certain feeling. It puts you in a certain state. And from that state, you understand certain things that are representative of the thing you have tasted and
right,
what it signifies to you as it interacts with you. So the idea is that paprika to you will be a little bit different than paprika to someone else, even though there may be a generalized agreement.
Right.
But what it means to you, what significance you put into it, will determine the information you extract from that experience, and that is a very close analogy to how we scan the different layers of any civilization that we come in contact with.
Can you make any kind of comparisons to maybe if you could choose with several other cities or whatever, make the same kind of comments as far as how they are perceived, your civilization, and or to make any kind of comments about comparison, maybe one location, region, or city to another?
Well, again, let us extend the analogy, and again, this happens on your planet already. If you have a particular association to the energy already in your mind of various cities, and you make a comparison between those associations, even through the analogy we are using of describing a flavor to represent the city, then the comparison of those flavors tells you a lot about the different energies of those locations. Such as you might say that Las Vegas is paprika and your Hawaii is a mango. The difference between those two ideas tells you a lot about the nature of those two places. Again, just to continue this simplistic analogy.
So just to continue the analogy and talking about those two situations or locations,
yes.
Do you in fact view Hawaii as mango?
Yes.
Okay. So
for the purpose of this analogy.
Okay. So for the purpose of this analogy, in other words, if we're looking, well, let's say maybe it's a matter of where am I going to live? I've got paprika over here and I've got mango over here.
Correct.
Now, how do you relate the two? How is it possible to...
Well, obviously you have a preference. Are you more excited about filling your mouth with paprika or mango? Now, this does not discount paprika. Paprika has value.
Maybe to a lesser volume of paprika,
Well, there you go. Now, doesn't that say something?
Smaller taste of...
Yes, because it's more potent, more pungent.
Uh-huh.
So it requires a smaller taste.
And how does that reflect to the people who choose to live here, for instance, and taste it every day kind of thing?
The idea is then that there are still, depending upon the individual, a number of ways to interact with that concept. For example, one individual, in order to avoid numbing the senses, might only allow themselves an extremely small amount of input from that location so that they can allow themselves to continue to exist in that location, which means on some level they may be shutting down a lot of input. That's one way to look at it. Another individual may absolutely gorge themselves on the paprika because that's what they love. They may be completely open to the total input of that idea and never tire of it. There are any number of responses and reactions to that idea depending upon the individuals that happen to be partaking of that particular meal. But there are consequences to every response. But that's what tells you what's going on with that individual. So, for example, just to carry the analogy further, if we sense that the individual we are dealing with is intaking just a little bit of paprika, just on the tip of the tongue, it might, for example, tell us, therefore, that they might be shut down in other areas in order to withstand the pungency of the place they have taken themselves, and therefore that might tell us that there might be some other place, like mango, that they would prefer to be, where they can allow themselves to be more open and partake more fully of what that place has to offer. That might be one way we interpret the energy that we pick up from them to continue this analogy. But that's just an example.
Okay, to continue the analogy, is a prime aspect as viewed from your civilization of Las Vegas, as we would probably perceive it to be, that of being the gambling capital of the world, or of our planet, in other words. Does that aspect of this being, the gambling capital and the aspect of gambling,
it comes across very strongly to us as an essence and an energy of, as you say in your colloquial language, all bets are off. Anything goes. It's a vortex of open reality where anything can manifest in an instant, in either direction.
Meaning Las Vegas?
This is the analogy we are continuing, since that's what you brought up. Yes.
Okay.
We are scanning it as an energy vortex that allows for any kind of manifestation to occur in the twinkling of an eye.
Possibly, then, for myself, that's why maybe I enjoy living here, is maybe viewed upon that way. I find it as an exciting place.
You can, but also that doesn't discount the idea that some individuals may ensconce themselves in that vibration to allow for the manifestation to occur in the twinkling of an eye, that is the manifestation of them immediately getting up and leaving the area as well. And I do not mean that in a derogatory way. No. Sometimes an individual will need to thrust themselves into a vortex of all possibilities in order to understand where it is they really want to be. And thus, then, when they get that understanding, leave and go to that place.
And one other observation after living here for a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
Seems as though many people living here at one point or another say, well, I'm going back home to where I was where I grew up back east, maybe Minnesota, New York, wherever.
Yes.
And it seems as though a high percentage of those people seem to come back out to Las Vegas. I seem to have noticed that.
Yes, and so.
Happening a lot. Wondering, what the comment there is concerning this place.
I'm going to leave that up to you.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Thank you.
There's a couple more cities, a couple more tastes around the world.
We will see. As this dialogue unfolds. Thanks.
This is the first time I've ever been here to see you.
Well, good day to you. Thank you for allowing us a first contact with you.
I read through your book a little bit.
Then it is not the first time we have met.
It's the first time I've ever actually seen you.
You're not seeing me now.
Seeing Daryl
All
and speaking to Bashar.
Understood.
Now, I was wondering,
Yes.
how did you come up upon our race, and why did you decide to come here and speak to us and
All right. Thank you. First of all, of course, understand that we were created in the sense that an alien species that you refer to generally as the Greys took their DNA and your human DNA and created a hybrid race. We are one offshoot of that hybrid race. So in that sense, we came upon you simply because of the fact that we were taught that you are, in many ways, our ancestors.
So we're like test tube babies, pretty much. Is that what you're saying?
We are simply saying that we are descendants of you in one context, through one particular avenue of creation and evolution.
Oh, wow.
And so we are, in that sense, related. So it would be the same idea as someone coming to you and saying, well, over there lives your cousins. You might want to pay them a visit sometime, see how they're getting along. And so we have. And because we recognize that your civilization is now opening itself up to the exploration of the existence of other civilizations, we have accepted the invitation that goes hand in hand with that opening to start and initiate a dialogue with you, since that is now appropriate. And as these dialogues ensue, and as we solidify the reality between us, bit by bit and day by day, it will become more apparent that a new reality is being created in which we can both interact more face-to-face, more solidly in time, in a way that will not interfere with how you have decided your civilization shall progress. We only want to be of assistance to you. We do not want to interfere with your choices for your world. But we are interested and curious about you since you are related to us and we are related to you. We can learn a lot about ourselves by interacting with you, and you can learn a lot about yourselves by interacting with us. So it is a mutual exchange, mutual growth. We are having fun. We are enjoying, in that sense, getting to know you and playing with you. That is why our civilization mostly is in contact with your civilization at this time.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you as well. Have you good day.
Earlier in the week, I had a visitation that my conscious mind perceived as lion being.
All right.
And the next day in meditation, I perceived it as a matrix of emerald green energy.
All right.
And you comment on lion.
It is, again, mostly just a presentation. It is an archetypal symbol being used by your consciousness to represent the kind of energy that they feel like to you and to put you in touch with ancient memories you have of your connection to them in other civilizations, such as ancient Egyptian civilizations, where you had more contact with them in an open and conscious way. So the lion symbolizes a coming together, a time, so to speak, a timing when you were more aware of the connection between you and that extraterrestrial consciousness. You follow me?
Yes.
What the emerald energy can represent is the idea now of the Earth at present, the emerald energy of your planet's need to be balanced in the healing, in the heart, so on and so forth, to do the work you are here to do, and to add your energy to that emerald energy so that your planet can, in that sense, and all of you, being the planet, can, in that sense, heal itself through the heart, which is the emerald ray, the emerald vibration. Being in contact with those friends of yours is reminding you to do your part as you chose to do, to give of your love and your service, to be of service to all, to allow your planet to heal, to grow, to become rich again, in that sense. Verdant, green, life-bearing, nurturing. You follow me?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Yes.
Could you comment on the lion in Egypt at that time?
Again, it is not that there were lion beings.
Yes.
It is simply that the idea represented being in what you call the vibrational sign of Leo when this occurred, when this contact existed in Egyptian times. You understand?
Yes.
That vibration was the same vibration of the time of the creation of the Sphinx on your planet. It was done under the sign of Leo, when your sun was in the sign of Leo. And that is the time that represents that energy when you had a life there, that you were in contact with these extraterrestrial consciousnesses and understood the same kind of things you have to understand now to be of service to your planet now.
I'm getting ready to go to Egypt.
Well, what a coincidence. Then you are in many ways going to meet yourself and to be more open to having more conscious dialogue with yourself and with them. Gaze upon the Sphinx and just open up to whatever memories and feelings come. Then watch your dreams.
I've been having dreams for days.
Well, again, what a coincidence. You're right in step, you're right in timing. You need no more information from us, then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've got a personal question.
Oh, no.
No. I recently took a trip back to New York.
All right.
And I wanted to ask you about my ex-wife, my connection with her.
What about it?
Past connections, associations between me, her family.
Guys, you know me better than that. Don't leave it open-ended. Tell me what you think, and I will discuss it with you.
Well, I could tell you what I've experienced.
Well, then
very,
do so.
very close.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Very close.
Yes.
We've always been like family. You know, myself and her family.
Yes. Well, you already know that many people that you are incarnate with in this life, you have had many experiences or are having many other incarnational experiences with, and as such you do create a family pattern across the ages with many individuals and souls.
Yes, this is a large family. There was 6 boys, 3 girls.
Larger than you think.
Mom and Dad. Yeah.
If you include all the ones that are not physical with you in this life.
Yes. Well, what I'm asking is,
yes.
This group association, have we been together before?
Yes.
Okay.
I just said that.
Okay, come on.
And?
Well, could you give me more feedback? You know?
Of what type? What type of feedback do you think you need?
Of, recent past association.
Why?
Why not?
Why the specifics? What do you think the specific connection will do to help your understanding in this life?
To understand certain associations.
Such as? Be specific. Be specific about your relationship now, and we will see what chords are struck about how the connections link to other lives. Be specific.
All right. Well, we even myself and my ex-wife, between us, even because of our differences, we've always stayed very close.
Yes.
Best friends.
Yes.
Okay, and you know, we always feel like we've been associated with each other, even in past lives.
And there have been many, many forms that this has taken. You have been brothers. You have been sisters.
All right, and what other dynamics are involved?
Of what nature do you mean it? Be more specific.
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to be specific.
But you're not being specific. What we mean by be specific is call out some dynamic that exists now that puts you in touch as a reflection to a certain portion of your consciousness. And we will trace that specifically to what other incarnation it is connected to. But you're asking so many generalities that we would have to give you a large chunk of the life in order to answer your question. How are the dynamics involved? The dynamics of what? The dynamics of the kind of communication you have, the way you talk, the words you use, the way you look at each other, the dynamics of whether you are kinesthetic or she is in that sense auditory, the dynamics of how you go shopping together, the dynamics of what programs on television you watch. What dynamics are you talking about?
Oh, geez.
What dynamics do you really want to understand?
Oh, the reason for the intense closeness, even through all our differences over the years and everything. We've been...
Because you are good reflections for each other.
Yeah, and even her family. I mean, it's like we've always been family.
All right, then I'll give it to you in the general way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
I think
the reason for the intense closeness, regardless of whether or not there have been incarnations and familiarity built up from that. The reason for any intense closeness of any type is because you are each the vibration that is appropriate for the other to see reflected in each other the things you need to see in order to know more of who you are. That's the reason for any intense closeness that exists.
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, to a degree, but what I'm looking forward for is this association of people.
Yes.
Okay. When was our last group incarnation together?
Of exactly the same individuals incarnated in this reality?
Yes.
All of them? Not even one missing. All of them that are incarnate now.
Yes.
1750.
All right, and where? And be a little more specific.
Both in your Europe and in your North America. There was some traveling involved over time. Not everyone traveled from your Europe to your North America, and some of you that were incarnate in that time were already existing in your North America in a different culture. You are not all of the same culture.
Probably European, Native American.
Yes.
All right,
but you were all incarnate, even though you didn't even all meet in that life. But you were all incarnate. That is the direct answer to the question.
I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm talking about incarnate associations. You know what I'm talking about?
When other life were you all incarnate, that you all knew each other?
Yeah.
That you all met in some way, shape, or form?
Yes. Because, I find it...
1642, England, France, Scandinavia, Germany, Italy, Spain.
Let me ask you this, what type of group was it? I mean, it seems like,
Again, different groups in that time, but in that life, you all met through different callings, through different occupations. You all, one way or another, ran across each other, somehow had dealings with each other in business or in family, somehow in that time frame.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does to a degree. I just, to me, the whole, maybe this is a dynamic of it, but what I'm trying to say is very rarely that so many people get together and we just fuse, This is like from day one. You know what I mean? Like
we understand.
Always been
but that's because this is the time of transformation. And many of the distended, shall we say, and extended families over time are now coming back together. It's not that uncommon now.
Oh, okay. Well, that does answer the question.
Thank you.
You weren't being a little impatient, were you?
No. We simply did not understand you.
Okay. I wanted to ask you also, my brother-in-law John, his wife had passed away in January.
All right.
She was 39 years old. Her name was Barbara Ann Sherry.
Okay.
And
is this the same sherry that we spoke about before, the drink?
I thought that was a little synchronistic. Them being Irish American Catholic.
All right.
And all. What could you...
She is, at this moment, reliving an incarnation through her consciousness as a nun. We don't want to disturb her reverie. She has recreated the convent around her in spirit form. She is reliving and going through that life again right now, replaying the tape, so to speak, of her consciousness and her experience in that life, so she can understand the things she needs to understand about that incarnation. We will disturb her no further. She is fine.
All right, and also I wanted to know if you could give me something I could say to my brother-in-law John that maybe we might help him out a little.
I have told you all that I am allowed to say right now. She is in reverie. She is in life review. She is recreating an ancient scenario for herself in spirit form to have the experience to understand herself. One moment. One moment. We will look for an access route. If your John will light a candle and project that candle into her review scenario, she will, at some point, glance at the candles in the convent and notice that one of them is different. And she will sense that it's a connection to someone she loves. And that will start the path open for a dialogue. But it must be done gently in this way. All right?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are very, 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 very welcome.
Also, I wanted to ask you about bathing in sea salt.
What about it?
All right. I've been told that the monoatomic gold you can acquire from sea salt.
It is present, not necessarily in great quantities, but it is present.
And could your body absorb it through that method?
It can, to some degree, yes.
All right. Now, how about getting the sea salt and bathing in a bathtub?
It is not just sea salt. It is many things in the ocean.
Oh, in the ocean itself.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh. Give my regards to your family.
Yours too.
And I mean all of them.
Listen, one thing I wanted you to clarify.
Yes.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
All right, because you've mentioned this over the last few sessions.
Yeah.
All right, that we don't reincarnate the way we figure that we do.
All incarnations are simultaneous.
Yes, I understand that part of it.
Yes.
Okay? Now, what I've heard you also talk about is
Yes.
you live, you die.
Yeah.
Not the same being per se reincarnates. The energy does, but the being is like a shell or a facade or something like that.
This is, again, just terminology.
Okay.
It is from one point of view viewed that way, but again, you know that all of this happens right now.
Yeah, all at once.
Yeah.
All right, because I've heard you explain it to people, and it sounds like it clarifies it to a degree, but
we are describing an effect. That's why. We're not describing an absolute. We're describing an effect of one point of view. When we talk about linear incarnation, we are describing an effect that rises from a particular point of view. It's not the absolute truth, it's just a truth depending upon the point of view, and we happen to be describing it from that particular perspective at that moment, so all we're doing is describing an effect of what it appears to be from that reality point of view.
Okay.
And thus, when it appears that way, it will have a certain impact upon the being perceiving it that way. The being will be able to glean a certain effect from that particular slice of the reality.
Yeah, it's more or less the being that's asking that question.
Yes, at that moment.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot.
By the way, there are 227 million members in my family.
Now, that's serious.
That's the sonic. I mentioned that to point something out that may not have been immediately obvious. We know what you mean by your immediate family, but you do have a family of everyone on your planet. You are one family too, since you're all on Earth. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Just a reminder. Fine.
Hi, Bashar, another question.
Whoa, one moment. Good day.
Good day. I was in
Orange County in 1992.
And, County of Orange, yes.
Yes. Okay. And I was in the limousine business there, and I left to visit New York City and State.
Are you going to bring up your family too?
No. No?
Then we'll allow you to proceed.
Okay. And, well, I did visit the home where I used to.
Oh, I knew.
To live.
All right.
In New York.
Yes.
And in a
You're not related to the last questioner, are you?
No.
All right.
Although I thought that was a coincidence.
I see.
Yeah. And so when I went back to Orange County,
you know we're doing this just because we enjoy teasing them.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Easterners deserve a little teasing.
Seems that all of you do.
Intense place back there.
Yes.
All right.
Proceed.
Okay. And so I came back to the Gentle West and
Gentle West.
All right. Gentle West, yeah. And found out that the IRS had taken over part of the company I was working for.
All right, understood.
Okay, and so I no longer had a job.
Oh, all right.
And I no longer had a car because my deal with them was that I had a personal limousine as part of my working for them.
Oh, I understood. Understood.
So I went into a panic because I went.
Is that another kind of car?
No. I guess
it's certainly another kind of vehicle.
It might be. And I'm still getting out. I'm still driving it.
Oh, all right.
No,
how's the mileage?
Not too good. Not too good.
All right. Time for a change.
Time for a change.
All right.
Time for a change. Yes. And so what happened was I got back and I had no vehicle, and in Orange County, LA Orange County area, a vehicle is necessary.
If you say so.
Okay. And so after a couple of weeks of riding the bus around, I definitely said so. And so it was hard not to have a car. And so I heard about a guy that his name was Al Bigelow, and my father's name is Al, and there seemed to be some connection there for me. And I went over to get the car. I had my landlord, the guy I was renting a room from.
To get what car?
To purchase.
I see, all right.
An old Cadillac.
Oh, all right, yes, and so.
And over the phone we had an agreement to buy this old car for like $400.
Yes.
And then when I got over there,
yes,
my landlord took me over there. The guy I was renting a room from, he lived in the house also.
Yes.
This guy, Al Bigelow, just started toying with me and wouldn't sell me the car.
I see.
For like 3 hours.
Yes. And why did you choose to do this?
Because I kept holding the thought in my mind that he agreed on the phone to sell me the car for $400, and I wasn't leaving there until I got the car.
I see.
And
why did you choose to do that?
Because I needed a car, and there was a car, and I had $400, and it was.
But why did you choose to do it that way?
Because I was desperate.
Ah. So you created a desperate scenario.
Right, and he played with it.
Well, of course. It's what you asked for.
Oh, that's not what I planned on.
It's what you asked for.
How did I ask for it?
Create a reality in panic, get a panic response. Create a reality from desperation, get a desperate reality.
Okay. So how do I get out of that? I got real upset. I got real
Yes, of course.
Angry.
You were angry and upset to begin with.
Right.
That's why you got that reality. Then you just simply reflected the anger that was already there. Gave you an opportunity to discover what had already resided within you.
Okay.
The situation did not make you angry. The situation allowed you to reveal that you were already angry, and that's why that situation existed.
Oh, okay.
Are you beginning to get the picture?
Well, I hear it, and what is the anger all about? What can I do about it? I think it
Well, you have to start to relax and open up to the possibility that you could create your reality in the way you really want it to be without so much expectation of what you think you need to do that. Without thinking in such a limited way.
Okay, well, I saw an image of the person that I went to New York to visit, and she and I had some intense karma together, and it was real intense for me to be there, and I felt like she was real needy. And
yes, so how does this connect to what we were talking about? Unless, of course, you are saying that karma is another kind of vehicle.